Shalom, brothers and sisters. Today I'm going to be reading more from Fossilized Customs so I can bring the truth to more people. And bless you all, warriors of the truth and warriors of Yahuwah. Who are the Natsarim? Natsarim is Hebrew for branches. It also means watchmen. It is found in the Hebrew text at Yirmiyahu 31:6, the chapter where the renewal of the covenant is found. Most translations use the word watchman at Yirmiyahu 31:6. Natsarim are appearing today to bring the final message before Yahusha returns. It is the message of Eliyahu prophesied at Malachi 4:1-6. Scripture provides us with code words that identify the Natsarim. You'll find them called the bride, first fruits, wise managers, a treasured possession, and a higher calling. All of these are referring to them because they will be in the first resurrection at Yahusha's coming, rather than at the end of the millennium. Yahuwah consistently contrasts the difference between those who serve him from those who do not serve him. Most people are aware of the scroll of life mentioned in Scripture, but there is another scroll that contains the names of Yahuwah's treasured possession. It is the scroll of remembrance. Then shall those who fear Yahuwah shall speak to one another, and Yahuwah will listen and hear, and a scroll of remembrance be written before him of those who fear Yahuwah and those who think upon his name. And they shall be mine, said Yahuwah Zabuo, on the day that I prepare a treasured possession. And I shall spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Then you shall again see the difference between the righteous and the wrong, between one who serves Elohim and one who does not serve him. Malachi 3:16-18. The name Yahuwah and the word, his commandments, are above all. Psalms 138:2. The next section is teaching authority. The Natsarim have never recognized any teaching authority but one, Yahusha. The Sanhedrin asked Yahusha what teaching authority he was under, Matthew 21:23. Before the destruction of the temple at Jerusalem, the Natsarim had their base of operations at Antioch. See Acts 11:14, 15, and 18. After the destruction of Jerusalem temple in 70, the Natsarim dispersed into every direction. Their persecutors mentioned them occasionally as being heretics because they obeyed the commandments and ignored the teaching authority of the circus fathers, or church fathers. To the circus fathers, the Natsarim seemed no different than the Yahudim in their practices, except they believed in Yahusha. The next section is FISCUS JUDAICUS. Few today have heard of the FISCUS JUDAICUS, attacks on those practicing Torah after the destruction of Jerusalem that went on for centuries. The pressure to invent new practices and a different name for themselves was mostly based on avoiding this tax. Another teaching authority began at Alexandria, Egypt, about 190 CE, calling itself the Didaskalia, literally meaning teaching authority. This school, was also known as the Catechetical School at Alexandria. Seminaries teach the writings of these fathers of the circus or Circe. The church circus fathers regarded the Natsarim as heretics mainly for rejecting the authority of their teaching authority and holding to the commandments, which we are right to do, to hold true to the commandments. We recall that Yahusha was asked by what authority he was teaching and doing the things he did, Matthew 21:23. Teaching authorities tend to only recognize those they endorse and dismiss all others as false, persecuting them to death. This was the outcome for their hatred of Yahusha and their primary motivation. They sought to make the Natsarim an extinct species. Other names for the Natsarim. Several of the fathers of the Catechetical School of Alexandria mentioned the Natsarim, calling them heretics. They referred to the Natsarim as Natsaroi, men of Nazareth. Ebionites poor ones. Waldensians or Waldensians, valley dwellers. Valdis, Waldo, Albigensis, exterminated by the Inquisition in the town of Albi, France, but called Cathars or pure ones. Toulousians and Passagians, who believed in obedience in the old law, their name meaning passage. The Circus Fathers wrote of their behavior. They would read the Torah and prophets, circumcise their male children, keep the appointed times, and were not of noticeable difference from the Yahudim, except that they believed in the Mashiach, Yahusha. While holding these examples of obedience, legalism against the Natsarim, the Circus Fathers would self-castrate themselves. Origin, self-castrated headmaster. And then this is the depiction for that. The fellows of the right of this picture, on the right of this picture, are not sunbathing. Self-castration was a common practice of the Didascalia, meaning teaching authority, the catechetical school at Alexandria. Natsarim is the Hebrew term for guardians or watchmen. The word also means branches, as descendants of the teachings of Yahusha HaMashiach. Natsarim are prophesied at Yirmiyahu 31:6 to rise on the hills of Ephraim. We are mentioned at Acts 24:5 as Paul was called a ringleader of the sect of the Natsarim. The next section is Christianos, how they called you an idiot in the old days. Yahusha's followers were referred to by outsiders as Christianos, a term of scorn meaning idiots. See etymology of word Cretan. Notice this label in context with suffering by being insulted by being called by this term. For do not let any of you suffer as a murderer or thief or doer of evil or as a meddler. But if one suffers being a Christianos, let him not be ashamed, but let him esteem Elohim in this matter. 1 Peter 4:15-16. Christianos was a shameful term. Natsarim are indwelled by the spirit of Yahusha, the Ruach HaKodesh. They are the bride, first fruits, chosen ones, wise managers, the higher calling, and they guard the commandments of Elohim and hold to the testimony of Yahusha. Revelations 12, Revelations 14. Natsarim are all priests, Kohanim. Our head is Yahusha, not a man. We don't practice infant immersions. We circumcise our male infants on the 8th day, just as Yahusha was. We walk as Yahusha walked, and don't use bones or relics, indoor altars, or even buildings to worship Yahuwah. We are his Mishkan. We are his temple. Early councils of doom, inheriting falsehood from our fathers. The Circus Fathers. This is the depiction for that. Natsarim, no witchcraft. Natsarim don't bow to matzah displayed in a monstrance, nor do we pray to the dead, even Yahusha's mother, Miriam. That's idolatry. Necromancy and divination. Natsarim don't use rosaries. That would be divining through necromancy. Some kneel to bread over which a fellow uttered the Latin words, hoc est corpus meum, violating the first and second commandments. Natsarim don't do this kind of nonsense. Some trust in holy water and are practicing witchcraft. This entered Catholicism from the Hindu belief in sacred water from the Ganges River. I know the things I'm saying are sobering and perhaps horrifying to hear, but I can go on and on with scapulars, statues, indulgences from suffering in purgatory, but none of these things are of the truth. They're all lies. Paganism hidden within our supposed churches or our circuses. Yahusha calls forth a bride at his coming that has not been kissing the toes of statues. That sounds dumb in itself. Or drunken on the schemes of the devil. Guard and teach his commandments and investigate who the Natsarim are. The Torah of kindness teaches us how to love Yahuwah and love our neighbor. Praying to saints that have died is much less productive than speaking to saints that are still alive. There are saints, Kodashim, living on the earth right now, and we are ambassadors through whom Yahuwah pleads to everyone to be restored to favor to himself. And all matters are from Elohim, who has restored us to favor with himself through Yahushua Mashiach, and has given us the service of restoration to favor, that is, that Elohim was in Mashiach, restoring the world to favor unto himself, not reckoning their trespasses to them, and has committed to us the word of restoration to favor. Therefore, we are envoys on behalf of Mashiach, as though Elohim were pleading through us. We beg on behalf of Mashiach, be restored to favor with Elohim. For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteous of Elohim. 2 Corinthians 5:18-21. You can find that. The next section is, our commission is to teach others to obey. The covenant, the 10 commandments of kindness, teaches us how to love. We are not taught, nor do we behave in any way that results in persecution, slander, or harm to anyone. Our sword is the word of Yahuwah, always wielded with the goal of love. Love is a verb, not a feeling. It means actively helping others, not judging them. When Yahushua said, we are to love our neighbor as ourselves and do to them as we would have them do to us, he was retraining our broken, self-centered hearts to think of others more highly than ourselves. His spirit is given to those who obey. And if everyone saw the purpose of the covenant, it would rise to the level of nation states that would treat one another just as Yahuwah intended. To pray for world peace is to pray for the covenant of kindness to be accepted, and allowing Yahushua's spirit to circumcise a love for them on every heart. The power is not in the rules themselves, but in Yahushua who indwells hearts. Our heart refers to our inner self, the vessel, lamp, or wineskin that submits itself to obey from the heart. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. Zechariah 4:6 teaches us to rely on Yahushua to supply the needs of his servants who wait for his appearing. Romans 12 describes Natsarim behavior. Reformation or restoration is the next section. The dragon has divided the whole world against itself and caused everyone to disobey Yahuwah. Without Torah, the world is filled with a lack of love. The Natsarim are a restoration of the Hebrew roots of the faith. We are repairers of the breach and work to restore the covenant by sharing it with all people. It's about love. And those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you would be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the streets to dwell in. If you do turn back your foot from the Shabbat, from doing your pleasure on my set-apart day, and shall call the Shabbat a delight, the set-apart day of Yahuwah esteemed, and shall esteem it, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then you shall delight yourself in Yahuwah. And I shall cause you to ride on the heights of the earth, and feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken. Yashayahu or Isaiah 58:12-14. Yahushua has opened our hearts and minds to the scriptures and their mission of teaching love. As noted above, the word didaskalia means teaching authority. We Natsarim love people but share the truth to tear down strongholds. They may have false reasoning. The catechetical school at Alexandria is also called the Didaskalia, and from there all Catholics and Protestants inherit their doctrinal errors from the Kirke, Church, or Circus Fathers. The Natsarim teaching authority is the living spirit of Yahushua who indwells us, and we don't have sacraments or a liturgy. We have the Ruach of Yahuwah. We don't have many things, but we guard and teach the 10 Commandments to all mankind. Original Natsarim, Greek or Hebrew, is the next portion. It is overwhelmingly evident the first followers of Yahusha wrote in Hebrew. An important bit of evidence is the Dead Sea Scrolls, which contained a copy of... What's up, Bella Bean? I love you. Which contained a copy of the memoir or Gospel of Matthew written in Hebrew in Cave 1. There is evidence in the Natsarim text the language and alphabet of the writers was Hebrew. The Hebrew tongue or language is mentioned 3 times in the book of Acts 21:40, 22:2, and 26:14. I love you, Bella Bean. I love you. I love you. I love you. Let mommy do her video. No? Please? Please? Ow! Okay. Idioms, often called Hebraisms, are richly sprinkled throughout the Greek received texts. Textus receptus. We have also the outside evidence from the Circus Fathers' writings. Hebrew language proof is the next section. The 4th century Circus Father, Epiphanius wrote about the Natsarim and the Hebrew language. They were fluent in speaking and writing. In his doctrinal book Against Heresies, Epiphanius wrote, "The Natsarim do not differ in any essential thing from them, the Yahudim, since they practice the customs and doctrines prescribed by Laudismos law, except that they believe in Christ. They believe in the resurrection of the dead and that the universe was created by Theos. They preach that Theos is one, and that IESV Christos is his son. Therefore, they differ from the true Christians because they fulfill until now Laudismos rites as the circumcision, Shabbat, and others." The church father Epiphanius, in his doctrinal book Against Heresies, page 41 and page 402. The Circus Father Jerome also encountered a Nazarene relating similar behavior in him, obeying the popes. Catholic armies of Germany, France, and Bohemia brutally massacred their own population for centuries. Maybe that has something to do with the Bohemian Grove. Bohemia. Maybe that's why they named it Bohemian Grove. Persecution or massacre, 12th century. This is the next section. Waldensians named heretics by Pope Innocent III. The Wikipedia Encyclopedia, it states, the Roman Catholic Church declared them heretics, stating the group's principal error was contempt for ecclesiastical power. The Waldensians were also accused by the Catholic Circus of teaching innumerable errors. On the 24th of the 4th month, 1655, at 4 a.m., the signal was given for a general massacre, the horrors of which can be detailed only in small part. This massacre was so brutal, it aroused indignation throughout Europe. And this is the depiction for that. I don't know if it's close enough for you guys. Okay. The Catechetical School of Alexandria mentions Natsarim by name as being different from themselves. This is the next portion. Epiphanius, headmaster at the CSA Didascalia, a 4th century church father, Epiphanius, gave a detailed description of the Natsarim. We shall now especially consider heretics who call themselves Natsarim. They are mainly Yahudim and nothing else. They make use not only of the New Testament, but they also use in a way the Old Testament of the Yahudim. For they do not forbid the books of the Torah, the prophets, and the writings, so that they are approved of by the Yahudim, from whom the Natsarim do not differ in anything, and they profess all the dogmas pertaining to the prescriptions of the Torah and to the customs of the Yahudim, except they believe in Mashiach. They preach that there is but one Elohim, and his son Yahusha the Mashiach. But they are very learned in the Hebrew language, for they, like the Yahudim, read the whole Torah, then the prophets. They differ from the Yahudim because they believe in Mashiach, and from the Christians in that they are to this day bound to the Yahudim rites, such as circumcision, the Shabbat, and other ceremonies. Lay down, Bella Bean. They have the good news according to Matthew in its entirety in Hebrew, for it is clear that they still preserve this in the Hebrew alphabet as it was originally written. Origen CSA, or Didascalia Circus Father, also spoke of the Natsarim. Yahusha is the Spirit indwelling us, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. And he is our armor. We need to put on the full armor of Yahusha every day so that we are protected against anything evil. In the power of his love, we are enabled to overcome the world, or the beast organism. Practically everything we see and hear from teachers on any subject is a different spin on how to interpret Yahusha's will. Are we hearing his point of view or that of the flesh, of humans, of people on earth, mankind? We must listen for his voice in those who teach anything and have discernment. Discern if we are hearing him or another shepherd, the enemy, somebody telling lies. We are vessels of Yahusha, restoring lost sheep to his eternal covenant. Yahusha doesn't have dispensations of any kind. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. If there is any kind of discussion going around about dispensationalism or replacement theology, it's not his voice but another's. His point of view is all we need to take away from any teacher. Whenever he sees a life, he sees love. We should look at one another as he does, and our behavior between one another will reflect what we are capable of becoming, not what we may be in the moment. Love one another as he loves us always. He loved and died for us while we were yet criminals. We should commit our lives to rescue those around us, even if it is without words. Our behavior towards one another is the most powerful message of all, love. We are branches, Natsarim of Yahusha himself, his body, and he's looking for fruits to appear on us. The good fruits, the first fruits. We are Yahusha walking in this dark world because we have the Ruach HaKodesh in us. The next section is Natsarim guardians, watchmen, or branches. Yahusha's bride knows they are his bride. They guard his name and his word. The flashing sword of love, his word, is in our hearts. Depart from me, you who work either A, Torah, or B, lawlessness. Lawlessness is the answer. Depart from me, for I never knew you, you who work lawlessness. Papist beads, Muslim beads. If Satan invented rosaries, why would he be afraid of them? Buddha beads. Matthew 6:7. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the Gentiles, for they think that they shall be heard for their many words. And this is the depiction for that. Let me see here. Next time I will be reading Rosaries, Necromancy, which I will show the depiction for that again next time. And then Islam, it's like the 7th century all the time, and it shows the big black cube that people pray and walk around in circles all day long. I will also be reading about the Londors, the mythical firebird, the phoenix, Christmas, Shaitan's birthday, or Christ's Mass. My apologies, Yahuwah. I don't ever speak that name. Birthdays, Babel's oldest ritual. And I'll show the depiction of that next time. Stop biting on me, Bella. I think that's all I'll probably have time for next time. That's about 6 or 7 pages. Each time I read with you guys, I have about enough time to read about 6 to 8 pages with you guys. So hopefully we'll get through this book in maybe a year. But I want to spread the word, and I want to get the word out there of the truth to the warriors of Yahuwah and truth. And I want to get as many people as possible to realize the truth and to stop feeding on lies. I hope everyone has a blessed day. Me and Bella Beanie love you all. Yes. Yes. All right. Shalom, Miss Paka. I love you.